New year, new me will mean nothing in 2026 if you haven't changed your self perception, because you cannot become a new person until you've learned to see yourself in a new light. At the beginning of 2025, I set out to change my life by changing the way I saw myself, and as a result, I've seen significant improvements in all areas of my life. My work and businesses are taking off, and I'm making more money than I ever have before. I'm back in the gym, and my health is the best it's ever been. And my relationships and partnerships are thriving. I've never felt more connected. I was able to accomplish more in the last year than I have in the last decade, and I was able to do this by changing who I saw when I looked in the mirror. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 life-changing tips that are going to completely alter the way you see yourself, and as a result, change your life for the better. And if you're new here, hi girl, my name is Marcella Christina, and on this channel, I teach women how to become their highest selves. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe. Changing our self-perceptions is all about self-actualizing. It's about becoming more of who we truly are and aspire to be, and less of what no longer serves us. And that's how I want you to approach this process, with an excitement and curiosity for your future. So, if you're ready to see how good life can get for you, watch this video in its entirety, because I have so many gems for you. Let's begin. To change your self-perception, you need to change the story that you tell yourself. Here's the truth. We are simply the culmination of stories that we tell ourselves. Some may say that we're the culmination of our life's experiences, but I think differently. I say we are the culmination of the stories that we tell ourselves. Why? Because a lived experience is one thing, but what we take away from that experience is completely different. Let's say you and I were born at the same time. We come from a similar background and culture. We grew up in similar cities and had similar life experiences. But while you used every experience that you had, whether good or bad, to shape you into a better person, I did not. I believed I was treated unfairly and decided to be a victim. And this is what truly helped me kick my victim mentality to the curb, because I finally understood that it was a choice. I was actively choosing to be a victim. If you allow the experiences that you've had in your life to get you down and you consider yourself a victim, then you're not giving yourself any room to truly step into your power, because you can want all of the things that you want and even deserve them. But if you consider yourself to be a loser, then you're going to fail, you're going to lose, and you're going to miss out on opportunities. Now, let me be clear. Winners also experience failure. They experience losses, but because they see themselves as winners, they don't see their losses as final. They don't take their failures personally. They don't identify with their failures, and they don't think that it's permanent. Because how could it be? If I'm a winner, how could my losses define me? So it is your responsibility to begin to tell yourself a new story. Play a new tape. I know you may have experienced losses in the past. I know you may have had setbacks that were painful and even traumatic, but who says that that really has to be a loss? And what would happen if you decided that it wasn't? What would happen if you really did see your losses as lessons? What would you realize that you now have at your disposal? Could you possibly have wisdom? Because now you know what doesn't work, so you're better positioned to find what does. Could you possibly have built up your pain tolerance? I know how painful it is. I know what it feels like to fall flat on your face and for the world to keep spinning because no one cares. But aside from the bruises that it may have left you, is it possible that you've become stronger since? Because I don't know about you, but I can definitely take a licking and keep on ticking. My self-perception is that I'm a winner. And being a winner doesn't mean that you don't get hit. Mike Tyson has gotten hit. And sure, it may have hurt, but what's going to hurt more is how hard he hits back. I want you to really get into the practice of turning all of your losses into wins. Figure out how to do so. And if it feels like you're forcing it and it feels like you're reaching, congratulations, you're on the right path. This is a new muscle for you. It's something that you haven't done before. But once you really figure out how to see the lesson, you can't unsee it because it was there the whole time. If you're watching this video, that means you're still alive, which means there's still more for you to do. So the failure was never a failure. The whole time, it was just a lesson. It was just meant to teach you something. So figure out what that was and figure out how to see yourself as the person that can benefit from it. To change your self-perception, you need to change how you treat people. Brace yourself, ladies, because I'm about to get very kumbaya on you. How you treat others is how you treat yourself. We are one. Now, the illusion of separation is something that I'm personally very fascinated with. But for you ladies that are not as passionate, I'll spare you the detail. But just know this, we're all a reflection of each other. So I was watching one of my favorite creators on YouTube, Hines, and he was talking about people's lack of respect for themselves and how that translates into their lack of respect for the environment. So he was saying that one day he went on a hike, and while he was on this hike, he was noticing that there was litter all along the path. But when he began to really look at the litter, he was saying that it wasn't like healthy granola bars or fruit snacks or all of that stuff. He said the food was not healthy. The people that were littering had been people that were eating Doritos and drinking sugary drinks, etc. So the connection that he made, which I thought was brilliant, was that people that don't respect their own bodies will not respect nature. If you don't see your own body as a temple, if you're willing to eat anything, then how could one ever expect you to take care of the planet? How could one ever expect you to take care of your own environment? That was so profound, and it really drives my point home. How you treat others is a reflection of how you treat yourself. How far you're willing to go for others is a reflection of how far you're willing to go for yourself. If someone wants to be emotionally vulnerable with you and you won't hold space for them, it's because you won't hold space for yourself. If someone wants to give you love and affection and you're not allowing them to do that, it's because you have a hard time giving that to yourself. So, as counterintuitive as it may seem, in order to change your perception of self, you have to change your perception of others. So, let your relationships be a mirror to you. Your relationships should expose you to yourself. You should see yourself more clearly in your relationships. And when you think about it, this makes perfect sense. As a person that is kind, I see myself so much more clearly when I'm met with a mean person. And even when I'm met with a person that's heart is made of gold, I'm in awe of them because they show me that there's levels to this and there's so many other ways that I can show up and be kind to people. Be a person of influence. Be a person that makes an impact. Again, when you treat people well, what that shows you is that you respect yourself. You respect who you are as a human being, so you want to go out into the world and help other human beings. Be a person that can leave a positive, lasting impact on someone's life. And the more good that you do for others, the more good you will see in yourself. You need to change how you see the world. As I mentioned, we see ourselves and other people. But the thing is, so many of us are so accustomed to seeing the same people over and over again, because a lot of people are stuck in the same environment. They still have the same friends, they still eat the same foods, and they still have the same customs. And listen, none of that is wrong, but it's important to understand that there's another side to things. And if you're going to change your self-perception, then you're going to have to change your environment. So you need to get around people that are different than you. And when I say different, I mean the more different, the better. Essentially, you need to experience a culture shock, because this is the only way you're ever going to be able to identify how much of your self-perception has been shaped by your environment. For some people, it will be a little, but for most people, it will be a lot. And that's going to lead you to question some things, which is perfect. That's what you should be doing. Question everything. Why does this group of people have this custom? Why does that group of people follow that tradition? And why were you unaware of all of these things this entire time? The more you see how narrow your focus and thinking has been, the more you open up to the different possibilities that can be. Maybe you want to incorporate the different practices and beliefs of a different culture into your own life because you see how well it's worked for them and their people. Maybe you see another set of women are more reserved in their dressing and in their mannerism, and you see the respect that they get, so you might want to behave in the same way. The whole point of this is to refine your point of view. It's okay to be focused. In fact, I encourage you to do so. But we need to be focused on the right things. And just because you were born into an environment and that's all you know, that doesn't necessarily make it right. The way they do things in your hometown may not be what's best for you. And so this is the point where you begin to really see that, and you're able to make choices and refine the way you see yourself so you can really stand as an individual in your power as opposed to just being a product of your environment. Change what you consume. We all know this too well by now, but knowing is not enough. We have to take action. You are what you eat, you are what you consume. So in order to change your self-perception, you have to change what you take in. A healthy person does not eat junk food. Now, obviously, that's the generalization. Cheat days are a thing and everything is in moderation. But if we absolutely had to write a universal truth on a tablet somewhere, and we said, healthy people do not eat junk food, would anyone really argue with that? Not really, because it makes sense. A healthy person is someone that prioritizes their health, and junk food is anti-health. So it would make sense for them to not eat it because that is in alignment with their identity. The same is true for you. If you say you're a positive person, you cannot spend 4 hours on Instagram going through all of the blog pages and trying to get the tea on people. That's not the behavior of a positive person. And so while you may be saying that you're this person, you don't see yourself as that person. And so you can't be that person, because if you can see it, you can be it. I'm a big advocate for affirmations because it has personally transformed my life. That being said, I understood the importance for me to show up as the person I was proclaiming myself to be. I wasn't just talking the talk, I was walking the walk. And that's exactly how affirmations are meant to be done. If you're going to change your self-perception, you have to walk the walk. You have to actively choose to consume things that align with the person that you are becoming. And that is going to require you to change your taste. This is probably one of the toughest things that anyone will have to do when they're changing their self-perception, because no one talks about how hard it is for you to go from liking something for your entire life to just completely abandoning it, because you have to abandon it. The food that you may have grown up on that you've always loved is not great for your body. And so now, one day, out of the blue, you have to completely abandon it because it no longer aligns with your highest self. And it doesn't matter what anyone tells me, that is painful because you lose a bit of yourself in the process. And that's what changing your self-perception requires. It requires you to lose sight more and more of who you used to be. And that is a good thing. That is what we want. That's why we're doing this work. But I will not deny that it's painful. Thankfully, the taste that we do acquire alleviates that pain because you now have a new taste for life. You want to be healthier, you want to be smarter, you want to be more beautiful. And so you actively seek those things out. You actively pursue becoming that better person, which is ultimately who you want to be anyway, or else you wouldn't have wanted to change your self perception. Changing your taste is merely a growing pain because once you're on the other side, you really get to see how sweet it is. And it won't feel like a burden to eat the healthy food. It won't feel like a burden to work out or to invest in your education or your looks. It'll feel very much in alignment. And because of this, it's going to change what you produce. When you're consuming better, you're able to produce better. And when you're producing better, you're able to become better and see yourself in a better light. To change your self-perception, change your standards. When you change your standards, you guarantee your progress because it prevents you from going back to your old version. If your standard is now to live a luxury lifestyle, then you now see yourself as that person. Living a life of luxury is now a part of your self-perception. And so now you no longer resonate with anything that is not that. And that prevents you from being around people, places, and spaces that would jeopardize your life of luxury. Here's the thing about changing. A lot of people don't change, but I've noticed the people that do change a lot and they change often. If you change your self-perception, you enter a growth mindset because if you successfully do it the first time, you say to yourself, okay, if I was able to make this much progress, then I can do this again and again, as many times as I need to get to where I want to be or become who I want to become. And so a woman that is willing and knows how to change her self-perception is a woman that will constantly evolve because she understands that how she sees herself influences how she shows up in the world, the opportunities she's able to get, the connections she's able to make, the relationships she's able to have, the businesses that she's able to build. All of this is a direct reflection of how she sees herself. And so if you're a woman that can change her self-perception at the drop of a dime, then you're a woman with no ceilings. There are no limits to how far you can go. And I think that's one of the most wonderful things about changing your self-perception is that it doesn't have to be an end goal or a destination if you don't want it to be. Or maybe you get there, have your fun, and realize that you want something new. You want a different experience. You now know what it takes to get there and how to live life on your own terms. I see you, girl. Changing your self-perception is about living life from the perspective that serves you. It's about understanding that you're not your past. You are who you say you are. And at any moment in time, you have permission and authority to change who you say you are, to become a better person, to step into your next level, and to live a fulfilling life. All of this is available to you whenever you decide to use it. So I encourage you, as we're at the top of 2026, to use it now. Change your self-perception now and come back to this video in 6 months. You're going to be surprised with what you were able to pull off. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you become a part of the family. Okay, ladies, it's a new year, so we have new levels that we need to get to. Watch this video to continue your level up journey. Okay, my loves, until next time, take good care of yourselves. Bye.